Hey guys, welcome back to JMC Cars. Today we are driving the 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander plug-in hybrid all-wheel drive. The goal with this video is that you will find out if the Mitsubishi is still relevant in 2024. In this video we'll go through the exterior, interior and take you guys for a comprehensive drive. As I said, this is the Outlander model, which is Mitsubishi's plug-in SUV, so it's a bigger car. The car should compete with the Toyota's RAV4 and other plug-in hybrids like that, so that is really what we're going to compare it with in this video. Let's start with the front of the car. I think it's a bit messy. It's a pretty decent looking car, but if we take a look at this, there's too much going on. All the chrome details with the black and the red, kinda messy to look at. This is the 2020, so it's a kind of a newer car, so it should also compete with newer cars, and I really don't think it does that. It looks a bit old with all the really wide chrome details and also this wide grille with the logo. As you can see, the headlights, they got this blue light in the corner and this old looking yellow tinted light. The car could be from around 2013 or 14. Really doesn't look like a car from 2020. If you go around to the side, I think the car gets much better. Still quite boring looking, but it gets better to look at. It's much more plain and simple. Not so many details on the side, but you have this big plug-in hybrid logo to show off that you are saving the world. You have this really long chrome detail again by the side, under the windows, kinda dark tinted windows, looks kinda cool. If we get on our knees, we can see the wheels are 225 by 55, 18 inches rims. Nothing to write home about, pretty standard, fits the car. Here you charge up the battery. Here and here. Pretty simple. The battery in the Mitsubishi Outlander is 13.8. Just listen to this closing. The battery cover you open just by clicking it, but it's different on the other side. If you want to fill up the gas tank, you need to get in the car, click on this button, and there you have it. A 45 liters gas tank, which feels really small for such a big car. Let's go around to the back. The same concept as in the front. Big, wide details like this diffuser, but Mitsubishi is all about functionality. You will also see when I open the trunk, this car is about practicality, not looks. Here you have the trunk, 120 watt charger back here. Kind of weird place to have cup holders because it's only a 5-seater, no seats back here. I guess it is if you want to lay down back here. Trunk capacity is 463 liters with the rear seats in normal position, so decent space. If you want to have even more space, you just click this down and the rear seats fall down easily. To mention something that looks good on this car, so isn't just hate, the spoiler looks pretty good. A big spoiler for SUV, but makes it stand out with all the boring looking details. Let's jump in the back, test out the rear seats. As you would have guessed, decent legroom. Sorry for the light, it's pretty dark. Here you have your cup holders. I am around 184 centimeters with shoes, and I'm also the driver, so the seat is adjusted to me and plenty of legroom. Let's check out the interior and engine. Let's start with the engine. Pop the hood. Here you have the engine. This is the petrol engine and the battery. This engine produces 224 horsepower and around 300 Newton meters of torque. You don't see this in many EVs, or plug-in hybrids a cover for the battery. Looks kind of cool. If you take a look at the doors, pretty thick leather. Don't know if it's real, but feels high quality. Plastic up here, leather down here, and plastic again. The seats look real nice. Got this kind of Alcantara feel and leather on the sides. Let's jump in and check out the interior. Let's boot up the engine. Just like that. My first thoughts when I just jumped in the 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander is, like I said before, it looks so outdated for a 2020. This steering wheel, of course it has the buttons you need, but the design is what makes this car look so outdated. Especially if you take a look at the screen for a 2020, what is this? Really slow, low quality. The gear shifter looks a bit odd, but works fine. Neutral drive and brake boost, and park back here. And when you drive and you put the car into brake to save on charge, you can use these big metal pedal shifters to go through the brake levels. It got 5 levels, so at level 5 the car will brake very hard to save battery, and you got your minus on the left side, of course. Really big pedals just for that feature. Looks like something out of a race car. Your gauges up here, you find normal plug-in hybrid. Down here you could press safe charging, which makes the car, of course, safe charging by brake boosting even more. You can choose to go into EV. If the car has a lot of battery on, you can drive solely on battery power. But if you press down the speeder and accelerate too much, the engine will turn on. Back here you have your twin motor 4-wheel drive. If you flip this switch, you can see here, you can go into snow mode and normal mode. So 3 settings for the 4-wheel drive. And this big button is your sport mode, so the car revs a bit higher. Back here you have your physical heated seat buttons. Right here on the left you have a button which changes the infotainment screen. You see your battery, your service, trip. Let's go for a drive. Put this to the right and then to drive. And brake boost, 1 down. And you can see here B3 for level 3 brake boost. Just press the right pedal to 0 and the left to max level, which is 5. For now we will go through the forest, but later on in the video we'll test the performance of the Mitsubishi Outlander, test the 0 to 100 and the handling of this big SUV on some curvy roads. Let's take a ride here and go through the forest. My first impressions of the Mitsubishi Outlander is that it feels pretty solid. You can feel it's a big car. The seats feels really nice and tight, which they often don't do in big cars like this, so that's a plus. Let's go on the highway to test the performance. Let's put the car into sport. Really slow. It it's a bit windy today, there'll be a lot of wind noise, but the car is also just a giant square that makes it a bit worse. Next thing we'll do is to find some smaller roads where we can test out the steering. The car is in sport and normal four-wheel drive. It's kind of wet outside, so a bit careful here. It's hard to put words on the handling. It feels like any other car we have driven here on JMC Cars. It feels solid, like you would expect from a newer car like this, so nothing to complain about, but definitely not a sports car. Let's drive down to the end of the tunnel and test the 0 to 100 kilometers. The car should be around 11 seconds 0 to 100, so let's check that out. And I think we can brake boost it. Press down the brake, speeder, and go. Just like that, 100. Actually pretty okay for a big car. Again, it's not a sports car, so this should be plenty of fast for everyday use. As I said in the beginning of the video, this car could best be compared to Toyota's RAV4, which is almost the same size as this car, also a plug-in hybrid and around the same horsepower. But personally, I would still go for the Toyota RAV4 because of the interior. This is really outdated to look at, and don't know if there's something wrong with this car, but the screen is so unresponsive and looks outdated. Also on the exterior, I think it's okay, but the RAV4 is still a much more beautiful car. The handling and performance is the same. I don't really notice any difference between this and the RAV4. If you're just looking to buy a car for performance or handling, either of these two cars would be a good choice for you. That's my opinion, to go for the RAV4. If you want to see how the RAV4 performs, you can check out our video with the car up in the right corner here. Remember, if you like our content, please consider to subscribe and like this video. We would really appreciate that. And also leave some feedback what we can do better and what we are doing that you like. Just let us know in the comments. This has been JMC with the 2020 Mitsubishi Outlander 2.4 plug-in. We will see you next week with a new video.